Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing Barbecue, where we talk about Dallas. My name is Mary.
And I'm Brad, and I'll be playing King Arthur in the new global revival tour of Camelot.
Yes.
I am Josh, celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Woo-hoo!
And I'm Melanie. Shall we?
We shall. A quick shout out to our Patreon members: Brendan Phillick, Captain America, Carrie Carver, Amy Hara, Dr. Cindy Corliss, Jennifer Blake, Richard Lundberg, Marie Johnson, Corey Springhorn, Michael Jung, Jason Carter, Jennifer Indelicado, Laura Bernheim, Carl Reinsch, Anita Wren,
Thanks, y'all.
and Kristen Carlano. Thank you, everybody. Cheers.
What up, all? What
Thank you
up, everybody?
so much for
Thanks
supporting
for keeping our livers
podcast.
lubricated.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping the podcast up and running and
Yes.
the website updated.
And we finally have uploaded a bunch of episodes, so hopefully you are happy with that our hiatus is officially over.
And if you didn't know, we are live on Twitch, which is an app that you can use. I don't understand how to explain it, but I can know how to use it. You can find us there if you haven't already.
Mm-hmm,
We have Carrie is in the chat room now, listening to us live. You can listen to us live. It's free to sign up. Do it.
It's free to
And
sign up. And if you sign up for our Patreon, even as a free member, I send out a little reminders when we are going to record. Usually it's not a lot of lead time, like 5 hours or something before we start.
And I should mention that Sarah is off trying to find where Peter Richards went.
Who are we kidding? It's St. Patrick's
When he
Day.
left
She
school.
is face down in a vat of Jameson.
Actually, I think she's bartending, isn't she?
And pickle juice. She is.
Could be.
She is filling in for
There we go.
Cassie over at the Oil Barons Club this evening.
That's more likely, yes.
Because our Sarah is a part owner
Two.
of a really cool
Aren't they?
bar
Don't they have
in
two?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Weren't she and Scott opening
2
another
bars.
one?
I don't know. I just was.
They
I
own a-
was when I
They own a
visited.
bar?
She-
Why do
Yeah,
you
there
Well,
might
they're
be a
part
brewery
owners
in
of a
there.
bar. Yeah,
Maybe not another bar.
I got to go.
They're invested in
Oversoul?
the
Well, it's
brewery,
brewery.
too.
It's brewery's bar.
Shout out to Oversoul in Helena, Alabama.
If you're in the greater Birmingham area,
In the greater Birmingham area.
go check them
yes.
out. Say hi.
Yes, it's really cool. I totally
I
dug
believe it was in Alabama during the storms. There was a school bus that flipped over onto a school that I saw video of.
Jesus.
An entire
Ugh.
school bus that flipped over onto a school.
Lots of nasty video from last week and over the weekend, and just we hope everybody out there is
Yeah.
safe. And
Everybody's safe.
Sarah told us that her daughter had a close call down in Alabama.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You can lose stuff and replace
You
it.
can't replace
Hopefully,
people.
everybody's
Yeah.
loved
You
ones
don't lose
are
people.
loved ones are healthy.
And speaking of people, whose people have birthdays, Josh? Other than
Well,
Patrick Duffy today. St.
yes.
Patrick's Day.
Patron saint of the Ewing family, Patrick Duffy, has a birthday today, 76, along with Leslie Ann Down, who played Stephanie Rogers. She is 71 today. On March 21st, 1994, Dak Rambo passed away after a battle with the HIV/AIDS virus.
Aw, so sad.
Kathleen York, who I believe played, was it Betty? Next season, Eddie Cronin's girlfriend.
Betty.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Betty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now we know.
She is on March 21st going to be 64. Our own friend James L. Brown, who played Harry McSween with his plaid, March 22nd, 1920, he would be 105, so that would make him very old.
Very
Jeff
old.
Cooper, I believe, played Dr. Elby.
Mhm.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, he died March 24th, 2018. Brenda Strong, I did not get her year, but her birthday is March 25th, along with her
I want to say it
Desperate
might be
Housewives co-star Marsha
1961.
Cross, who was also on Knots Landing.
Don't quote me on that. I'll look it up.
Okay.
That would put her older
Okay.
than I would guess.
And she was old looking when she was on Dallas. Kate Reed, who played Aunt Lil.
1960. Brenda Strong, March.
1960, 65. You were off by a year. You were very close.
That makes sense because she
March
was on
20
Brenda Strong was actually on the original Dallas.
And I just have to say, somebody who's a Dallas fan out there, I posted on my page picture of myself with Patrick Duffy and Brenda Strong for Patrick's birthday, and this person claims to be a big Dallas fan of all the shows. She said, "Who is the woman on your other side? She's very pretty." I had to inform this person that she was a one night stand and she played Anne Ewing on the continuation. But
A lot of people decided not to watch the
Yeah, I
continuation,
mean, that's
though.
I'm
fair.
learning that, which is, yeah, I guess. I know a lot of people were like, I don't want to.
but Kate Reed, she died on March 27th, 1993. So that's all I have for March
That's it?
on.
Okay. Well, tonight we are talking about season 7, episode 14. So we're almost halfway through the season already. Episode 145 of the series, Peter's Principle.
Not Victoria Principal, but Peters, who spells it P-A-L-S.
Not to be confused with Victoria Principal, yes. Peters.
Don't push this any further. Of course I will. All the way.
Charlie has fantasies?
About you and me getting married and her moving into Southwark.
Well, that doesn't sound like such a wild one to me.
The family left her a trust fund with more money than the Farlows ever had. Harry, are you saying that he killed his wife for her money?
Donna. Edgar. Edgar.
Oh my God. It was written by Arthur Bernard Lewis, directed by Patrick Duffy, because of course it was, because the last one was directed by Larry Hagman. And it aired
And we're talking about it on his birthday. That's very fun.
That's true, yeah. It aired January 6th, 1984. So we are in 1984, guys. All right, also on that date, the number one song in the US was Say, Say, Say by Paul McCartney. The number one UK song was Pipes of Peace, also by Paul McCartney.
What's the name of that song?
Pipes of Peace.
It's almost Yoda
Never
sounding.
heard of it.
Instead of peace pipes,
Okay.
pipes of peace.
Same.
Speaking of Yoda.
The number one film in the US was Terms of Endearment. In the news this week, Brunei officially becomes the sixth member of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, expanding the regional cooperative organization's membership and influence. NASA's Space Shuttle Challenger was transported to Vandenberg Air Force Base in preparation for the upcoming S-41 mission, a critical step in space exploration logistics.
That was not the explosion flight.
No, that was in
No,
January.
that's in
1986.
2 years. Almost exactly 2 years and like a week or something.
Yeah, no, January 28th.
Born on this day, someone very near and dear to my heart, Kate McKinnon. Love Kate McKinnon from Saturday Night Live and movie fame. Died today, Ernest Laszlo, who was a Hungarian-American cinematographer who was born in 1898. And on Dallas.
You get some weird births and deaths in there. I always am curious to see what comes up.
That's true, but Kate McKinnon was exciting.
And if you can pronounce them.
Yeah, I could today, I think. Anyway.
It's like going to a Jewish Passover Seder and they have you drinking cups of wine and then reading the book and trying to pronounce a lot of those names that are unpronounceable when you're sober, let alone having all that wine in your system.
I bet if you're Jewish, you can pronounce them though.
Or at least no Yiddish.
On Dallas, this episode came in at number 1. Priscilla Bolio Presley's credit moves to the beginning of the episode from the end of the episode. Not in the main credits, but at the front of the
Moving
show.
on up.
That's right, to the east side. Christopher Atkins didn't think twice about the age difference between himself and Sue Ellen, whose relationship is consummated in this episode. Ooh.
Spoiler.
I don't think the producers knew it would be such a big deal at the time, but it certainly became one. Clayton's little quip about the singing talent of an actor playing King Arthur in a production of Camelot that he and Miss Ellie are attending is a little inside joke because Keel is a veteran of musical comedy theater, and his singing talents, along with Jenny Lee Harrison, Steve Canale, led to them being included on the Dallas record album Dallas the Music Story, released by Warner Brothers and Lorimar Records label. which contained 10 tracks, and also featured Charlene Tilton's ex-husband, not ex at the time, but Johnny Lee, and Crystal Gale and Gary Morris, among others. And it was directed and produced by Artie Ripp, who did an extended version of the Dallas theme in that episode.
Your book leaves out the part where Howard Keel famously portrayed King Arthur in the
Mhm.
musical tour of Camelot in 1964.
Yep.
This
Which
is
I think
true.
was the big in
Which
joke
is
with
what
that.
exactly what the in joke is.
Yeah.
Constance Towers played Guinevere. Who's that? I don't know.
So there's a goof in this episode where Lucy says over the phone that talking about John Ross, that he's my nephew's counselor, which of course Lucy and John Ross are actually cousins.
Right, and later in the series, John Ross and Christopher refer to her as Aunt Lucy
Right.
at one point too.
Weird, yeah. And a little trivia from this episode, Lee Montgomery, who played Peter's erstwhile roommate, Jerry Hunter, later starred in the movie Girls Just Want to Have Fun, I guess a year later in 1985, which that movie also featured Morgan Woodward, who plays Punk Anderson. And if you've not seen Girls Just Want to Have Fun, you gotta go watch it.
He looks familiar.
Yep.
Like
He
I didn't
does
look
look
up his
familiar.
IMDb, and I just I need to look him up because he looks familiar. And I don't know him from that
It's
movie.
Sarah Jessica Parker is the main character. Her little sister is played by Shannon Doherty.
Right. I know the film. I just don't think I've ever seen it. But
It's so good. It's so
Lee
good.
Montgomery
Shannon-
looks.
And a little Dallas connection. Shannon Doherty's deceased father on Our House was played by Patrick Duffy.
That's true. That is
True. Very true.
Yes.
Also, another piece of trivia is the title of this episode is a play on the Peter Principle, Why Things Always Go Wrong, a 1969 best-selling business book by Lawrence J. Peter and Raymond Hall. The book observed that every employee tends to rise to his level of incompetence. And I think that's pretty true, honestly.
So I don't see anything on his IMDb that tells me where I might have seen him before. Except that he was in an episode of Family Ties, so maybe that's it. Maybe it's just his hair that looks familiar. Looks like
Everybody.
80s
They say everybody
hair.
looks like somebody, and I know he looks like somebody I've seen before. So
His hair looks like somebody else's hair.
It's very 80s hair, yeah.
Yes, it is.
he stole it from somebody else.
They had just had one wig that just floated around, 1983 to 1985.
We open on South Fork. Lucy, it's morning. Lucy's on the phone, and she is still trying to find Peter because she has not heard from him. And Sue Ellen is standing above her on the staircase, eavesdropping.
When Lucy digs into something, she really digs into something. She doesn't let it
Yeah,
go.
and Peter doesn't want to be found right,
Right.
now.
They don't know what else to do with Lucy right now, so that's her goal.
He's ghosting you, girl.
Again, he
He's
was a
just
summer
not
camp
that into
counselor.
you.
Summer camp is over. They go away.
Right. And then Bobby starts
Peter-
walking down the stairs, seeing Sue Ellen, and just so then they both walk down together and they go to breakfast and the main dining room, and like everybody's here for breakfast this morning.
Except Ellie and Clayton.
Right. Which
Yeah.
gives JR the opportunity to complain about Clayton and how Mama is staying out all hours of the night with him and he does not approve.
It's none of your business, dude.
Like he's acting like her father, and she's some like a teenager.
Right, which is what Bobby reminds him.
They have some like late night 60 and over bar that these people go to and hang out. I mean, it does seem a little bit out of place for them to be
They're
hanging
probably
out
at the
all night.
oil barons club
I
at the
don't know,
bar,
man.
mingling,
Yeah.
Probably.
rubbing elbows.
They're canoodling. They're canoodling at Makeout Point.
Canoodling.
Ooh, they go parking. Hmm.
Be it. They could be parking a car.
They're
They could-
at the makeout point.
Wait.
They
We
could be
learn later that
necking.
Not happening yet. Necking.
Oh my god.
They could be petting.
Moving on.
Well, that's
I
Going to
always
the
hated
drive-in.
that
They still had drive-ins back then. Maybe that's where they're at.
part. True.
he's let's go old fashioned. He's courting her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe they go dancing.
So all hours of the night.
Singing her songs. Yeah.
Maybe. And then Lucy tells everybody how worried she is about Peter, which then makes John Ross worry about Peter. And he's like, Peter, am I ever going to see Peter again? And Sue Ellen's just like, yes, I hope so. And then she, in
Not unless
her
you walk in on him and mommy.
safari outfit, rushes him off to school.
Which has JR wondering why are they going so early?
Sue Ellen, could you be any more obvious?
Right.
We know exactly where you're going.
She has a goal.
And then we cut to Barnes Wentworth, where Cliff brings the cartel in to talk about possible new deals.
Half the cartel.
Minus Andy Bradley.
Yeah, Marilee and Jordan this time. Last week it was Jordan and Andy.
Now Cliff.
Because like they said in way back in the earlier season, that would be the last time that we would see all three of them on the same episode together.
Yeah, that's interesting. They just were like, we're only going to pay for 2 instead of all 3.
Is that a verified fact, or are we just assuming?
No, it was in the book.
Oh, it's in the book.
was
Okay.
the last
All
time.
right. Yeah, all right.
Now, Andy Bradley's off on his other life playing father to the Brady Bunch bully Buddy Hinton at this time. So
Not at this time. Not at this time.
Not at this. That was 10 years prior.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
no, he's off. You know.
And so he also, I guess the word on the street is that Barnes Wentworth is only really doing deals with Graceco.
Romance.
Cliff wants everyone to know that's not exactly true. They do business, but he's looking for someone to go in with him on the offshore deal.
Well, these are very large tracks, and it's respectable that you'd want to bring in partners on these things because they're very expensive and the risk is quite great.
But Jordan pieces out immediately. He's like, I tell you what I told Bobby.
He was basically
Now
like,
clear.
I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Bobby Ewing. Nah. But then, of course, Mary Lee's like, ooh, tell me more.
Jordan's like, well, are you coming with me? And like, are you guys together? Why does she need to go with you? Maybe they were.
Did you come in the same car? I mean,
Right,
what's going
yeah.
on?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But anyway, so then Cliff was like, "Oh, you can use Pam's." She's like, "No, Cliff. It was to get Jordan to leave because I would like us to meet like on the down low and maybe talk some business, maybe a little extra business."
Yeah,
Marilee,
late at night.
she's thirsty.
And girl's thirsty, and Cliff just seems like he's not picking up what she's
urges.
putting down at first. He's just like, wait, what's happening? But then he was just like, okay.
I was going to say if she had legitimate calls to make and she was going to use his phone, he would be letting lots of people use his phone that shouldn't be using his phone. Like JR used his phone earlier in the episode in the season, or had to put the bug in. And you can't let people be using your phone.
The young stud well must be running dry because she's very interested in Cliff and whatever it is he has to
Experienced bones.
So then we cut to Southern Methodist University, where Sue Ellen in her safari outfit is asking around about Jerry Hunter.
He's that guy over there on a college campus.
Random
Are you kidding
strangers.
me?
Just going up there.
That's what I was saying. Like on a college campus,
Yeah.
mean, the chances of that are pretty slim.
Even in a private
Right.
school, same thing.
Like
There's still tens of
everybody
thousands of
knows
people there.
everybody on that campus.
But he happens to just be
Jerry
like
must be a
just
popular
a couple feet away.
Now, the school that I worked at for a while running the media department was small enough, like 900 people were.
It's like high
I think
school. Damn.
almost everybody knew everybody.
Well, that school,
That
not a
schools.
university. Yeah, different.
Yeah.
So she walks over to Jerry and introduces herself, and Jerry, he seems just kind of weirded out by the whole thing, and he's just like, yeah, I don't know what's up with Peter lately. He's been acting weird, and I think he might have just dropped out of school. So I don't know.
Yeah, because he's gotten turned on by an older woman and he's throwing his life in the toilet.
Yeah. So Sue Ellen gives him her number in case he hears from Peter.
Total enrollment at SMU in 1984 was approximately 8,058 students.
Yeah, that's
So
enough.
they definitely all know
No.
Jerry Hunter.
Yeah, they all definitely. He's the
find-
big man on
Personally,
campus.
I find Jerry Hunter
No,
more
no, that-
attractive than
That would be
Peter.
Nicholas Hammond.
He's way more attractive than Peter.
Knock off Luke Skywalker.
The Timu Luke Skywalker.
Diet Luke
Sorry,
Skywalker.
Chris. I shouldn't have said that. I hope he doesn't listen. He won't. Yeah, if you got it from Wish.
No, I think it's just
Oh my God.
He looks
I
better
really-
now than Mark Hamill
Jerry
does.
just
Let's put it
exudes
that way.
maturity. Peter's brain isn't fully formed yet.
He's the Doug Simpson of SMU there, the big man on campus, yes.
Who's Doug Simpson?
The Brady Bunch episode that Marcia got hit in the nose with a football.
Yes, gotcha. It's been
Played by Nicholas Hammond, who was on Dallas.
it's been a hot minute since I've watched Brady Bunch.
We should stop and do that now.
Can we start a Brady Bunch podcast now? No.
I'm sure there are probably already a bunch of
You
those.
go
I
ahead
don't
and
know.
start that. I'll be right there, Josh.
I'll catch up. At the Oil Barons Club, Dora May leads Ellie and Clayton to a table and a cocktail.
Clayton orders his usual, even though he's been in town for about 3 days, I think. So
Right.
he already
Dora
knows
May
everybody.
knows their usual.
He knows everybody, and he has a usual drink already
Right.
at the Oil Barons
Which
Club.
Miss Ellie's looks like a Bloody Mary, I thought. Like a Bloody Mary, and then his was like, I don't know what it was.
Which is Bloody Mary, which is JR's hair of the dog drink every hangover morning.
Yeah. Clayton's a little down because it's Dusty's birthday and he can't reach him.
Tucson, last he knew.
Hmm.
Whom he refers to as Stephen because he's his father. Stephen.
Right.
Stephen.
Stephen.
Yes.
But he's also a little worried about his relationship with Ellie and how he can't put his finger on exactly what's wrong, but something's different and feels that maybe Ellie's pulling away a little bit and it's kind of worrying him. And she's like, well, yeah, maybe. And he's like, I feel like it could be your family, JR.
Yeah, and she's basically telling him that even though she's in her 60s, her and her adult sons are a package deal.
Right.
That
Yep.
sounds a little too Norma Bates. Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
It sounds
Anyway.
very too attached.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. No, it doesn't. Duck season, rabbit season.
So she says JR has always been difficult, which I'm sure true.
She even gives him an out. She even says, if you want to back out.
Right. And then he's like, are you kidding me? You are not getting rid of me that easy. Which is
Can you imagine
the right
like,
answer, Clayton.
why did your relationship end? Oh, my 50-year-old son got jealous. 45, however old JR is now. 45. Yeah. My 45-year-old son couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle the other man in the house. My 45-year-old son. Oh my God, that's just bad. His family's fucked up.
Right.
All the money in Texas, man.
Who still lives with his mama.
Exactly. Damn, Sue Ellen, he never even moved out. What are you doing?
Well, Gary was the strong one again, settling in California.
The house that's bomb bought for him.
And then we got to Ewing Oil, and McSween's info that he's gotten on Clayton is not good enough for JR.
JR's about to have some manufactured evidence planted on him, isn't he?
Nothing's happening here.
Well,
it
he
seems like.
said, I feel like we need to get into the sheriff's department, and we need to find either someone
grease the wheels
who really would like to make some extra money or someone who's ripe for blackmail. Just getting right down to it.
Cutting down to brass taxes here.
He's getting very frustrated because there just doesn't seem to be any dirt. We do have that little seed of this Jessica, sister of Clayton.
Right. That's it, though.
We think maybe something might be going on there, but we haven't developed.
Hello, Jessica.
And then we cut to South Fork. It is night, and John Ross is in his dark bedroom when Sue Ellen comes in to say goodnight.
I thought that was a very interesting choice of lighting for the scene, because usually, she turns the light on, and he'll be like, leave the light on, mommy, or something like that. And this was like completely in the dark, except for the hallway light? Okay.
Yeah. You see
Silhouette,
her
yeah.
walking. I don't think you see her face until she gets right up close.
And for a split moment at the beginning of that scene, I couldn't tell where John Russ was because of the darkness.
Yeah, and he could have
been
laying
in front
down,
of a TV.
he's
I don't know.
sitting up, so he's obviously something's bothering him. He's
Peter.
not sleeping.
Can't find Peter.
He
misses his Peter.
He does miss his Peter, and he's will I see him again? I'm just worried I'm not going to see him. And she's reassuring him, oh, you will.
I hope I see him too again, she says.
Downstairs, Bobby and Jenna are telling some funny business story to JR, and he's amused.
And then he kind of hints at them getting married.
Right, and Jenna's like, oh, hold your horses there, buddy.
Again, sounds like just ad-libbing their way through it.
Yeah,
because there's nothing
yeah.
developing towards that effect yet.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And she's like, right now we're just
Yeah.
business partners
yeah.
who may or may not be sleeping together. We don't know.
Some
We haven't-
natural throwaway material that sounds real.
Yeah.
It's not developing any story. It just sounds like
Yeah.
real talk. Real
And
talk.
then this is where we get the little banter about musicals from Clayton.
They're on their way to see Camelot, which is, again, the inside joke. JR asks him about, he mentions his sister Jessica, and Clayton gives bare bones information there.
And then they have a little eye conflict there where
Clayton's obviously uncomfortable at this.
right,
mention.
and then JR looks at him like, tell me more. I know something. And we find out he hasn't seen her in quite a while. She lives in England and she's married to a lord.
Lord
Making
Henry
her a lady.
Montfort.
Yeah.
You know,
making
and
her a
I
lady.
wrote
She's a lady.
here, I was like, dude, if Clayton has never mentioned his sister, don't you think there's a damn good reason that she shouldn't come to the wedding? Like, you're dumb, JR.
Oh, most definitely, which is why JR
I mean,
wants to
we're talking
invite
about a
her to
female
the
here that
wedding.
Clayton doesn't want around.
Yeah.
There's probably a damn good reason. Because he's not like that.
And based on the fact Llewellyn's sister Kristen is crazy and Pam's sister Catherine is crazy,
All
Yeah.
the sisters are crazy.
all the
Leave,
sisters
leave
are crazy.
Pandora's box closed
Is
this
Jessica
time,
crazy?
JR.
I don't know.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Move on.
Yes, Dusty calls and Clayton leaves the room, and then JR says, "Oh, we should invite his sister Jessica to the wedding
No.
if there's going to be a wedding."
Yeah. Okay, JR.
I'm surprised Bobby doesn't react to that if there's going to be a wedding comment.
I think Bobby's just already sick of it. Like, geez, like, whatever, Jared, get over it, you know? Then we cut to Cliff's, where Pam and Pornstash have just called Afton to let her know that they're not going to be able to go see her new act tomorrow because something
club.
came up. And then
Something
Cliff is
suddenly
like,
came up.
right.
There we are again.
Cliff is then like, tomorrow I might have something that's running late, so I'm not sure. And she is just immediately unamused.
And the real tragedy here is that we're not going to get to see Afton's new act because nobody's going. I mean, we the audience, are being robbed
We are suffering.
Yes,
of Afton's new act.
we are suffering from not being able to hear a reworked version of "Steal Me Away."
Reworked.
Right.
We love the old act so much. We're dying for the new one, and it's just not going to happen.
Whatever because her songs always have to do with what's happening in her life. So I'm sure her new act is all about how she's very annoyed at her boyfriend.
Yes, and
Yes.
the nuked chow
And we
mein though
learned-
is delicious.
Right.
She
Maybe it's a
reheated
cooking
chow mein.
song. It could be a cooking song.
Yeah, and she's just like, no, I just heated it up. I ordered it and heated it up. I was gonna apologize, but I'm not going to now. And he's like, oh, no need to apologize. This is amazing.
And it's not in a carton; it's on a plate.
And she can't even. She just rolls her eyes.
Yes. Back to the exercise room.
South Fork's exercise room with Ellie and Donna
Love it.
are working out.
Love the wood paneling.
So good. So
want-
1984.
Every building I enter now, I want to be wood paneling. I want to do that to my house. Yes.
Yeah.
That
was my house.
Right.
In the
The
80s.
way it
Gives you
used to be.
a feeling of warmth and coziness and home.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Donna
With
notices
exercise
that
equipment.
Ellie is not wearing her engagement ring while exercising.
She thought she was going to do some gardening today.
And then Ellie tells her that she's worried that she might be rushing things with
Donna's like-
Clayton, and Donna completely disagrees. She's like, "You've been
What are you talking about, rushing things?
Donna's
You've
a
been
good one to
dating
talk
over a
to.
year?
Yeah, Donna's a good one to talk to here. She knows a little
Yeah.
thing about old men. And
Well,
she does
and
know a thing
Miss
about
Ellie's like,
old men,
well,
yes.
yeah, but there's been nobody since Jock. And Donna's like, well,
And Donna immediately picks up what she's putting down here, and she's
like,
just like,
okay, well.
"Say no more. Say no more. I get
Say
it.
no more.
Whatever it's that you're worried about, Clayton is an awesome guy, and I'm sure you can trust him with whatever it is."
so we're telegraphing a little bit that she's
Mhm.
concerned about the intimacy.
And if anyone can handle JR, Donna says it is Clayton when they mentioned JR in that.
Yeah.
And as we recall, there was the double mastectomy. few years ago.
Right.
So
Which
that's
is,
still on her
I
mind. I don't think Donna
I
would have known
bet
about that. Maybe they
that's
talked
what's
about it off
bothering
camera.
her.
maybe.
But that's on
Some-
her mind. That's on her
Well,
mind.
I'm sure
Some-
that's what's bothering her.
The less they say, the more that gets said.
Yeah. I really like
Sounding
Donna
board.
is like such a good like sounding board for people. I love this about Donna, and she doesn't even
I
pry.
think she's very
She doesn't
objective
ask
too.
like, "Oh, what is it?" Because she just says like, "Whatever it is, I'm sure it's fine."
And again, Brad, you being a non-Icelandic viewer, I really get a strong Karen McKenzie vibe is in terms of confiding in and helping people with their things.
With a little less irrationality, yes.
Yes.
Donna's
yes.
much more even keeled and
So then we cut to Cliff's, and it is night.
See, not a
and
lot happens
so,
in these days because they just cut right to the night. Not a lot's
yeah,
happening.
we're just kind of going through time. And so we're, I guess, assuming that this is when Afton is debuting her new act. Marilee is over at their place and they're having drinks, and she is 100% hitting on him.
and she is fire in this scene too. Yeah.
She,
Looks
Okay,
fantastic.
Cliff,
She's
yes,
ready to
looks
go.
great.
Cliff
So
is
Mark-
Ready to go.
considering it,
And
which he
Molly's
shouldn't be. He should not be considering whatever. He should
Yeah.
not be picking up what Marilee
He-
is putting down.
He's a little bit shocked that this is
He is.
even on the
I don't
table.
think he knows what to do. He's just
Right.
like, what?
No.
Like, that was not on his bingo card.
But still,
No.
He didn't
importantly,
expect
the
that.
answer is
He just
no.
wants her
And-
money.
Like, come on, dude.
And another point. Why do you hold these meetings in your condo? I don't care if Afton is out of singing. Why do you hold these meetings at your place?
Because he said earlier in the episode that if it was like a personal meeting, then he would have not had them come to the office. He would have invited them to his home. So I feel like this is him having a personal meeting.
Well, Cliff, you're a dum dum.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
You are a dum dum.
Dum dum.
You big dummy. You big dummy.
So he's trying to talk business. She's like, let's talk more about fringe benefits. When Afton walks in unexpectedly.
And the way she's dressed is like she came from a job as a cleaner.
Yeah, she didn't change into her.
She didn't
her
get the
singing
chance to.
outfit yet
No,
No.
because she didn't get the
she
chance
didn't.
to.
She
because
didn't steal her way into her outfit.
No. And
Fight
she
burst. Show canceled. Came home early.
right. And she sees
Ruins a lot of
this
relationships. going
Afton.
home
She
early.
picks up on everything. She sees what's happening.
This is your business
is immediately
associate.
pissed, freaks out.
And Cliff is like, you're being rude to a business associate.
Freaks out,
And-
storms out. She freaks out, storms out.
And Cliff is like, what? No, it's nothing. And then Marilee's just in the background like,
She's still on the prowl. She's like, after
Yeah,
Afton leaves, she's just like, so is she going to be gone all night?
all night?
Because I still got needs.
Not only
She's
that,
still all about it. I'm like, and then,
Afton lives
she does
there.
make it because
Like, this woman is in her own home.
yes.
Right.
And
The
Marilee don't give a
audacity.
shit. And Marilee is just, and Cliff is just like, what? Why now?
Well,
like,
now
you
you're
were
rich,
never
Cliff.
interested in me before. Like, you always like, and she's like, right, well, you're rich now.
Yeah.
So
The arrogance that comes with the money, I guess. Marilee's just like, I don't care that I'm in some other woman's apartment.
She's turned on because he
She'll
was
give a
Oil
fuck.
Man of the Year.
maybe.
It's that title
Jeez.
That big trophy.
that makes her a little moist.
Next scene.
And then we cut to South Fork, where Teresa answers the phone, and it is Jerry Hunter.
I am Team Jerry Hunter. Team Jerry.
I am too. Can we just have Jerry Hunter?
And Sue Ellen just happens to be on the couch
Always.
in the living
Every
room.
time.
Just happens to be on the couch in the phone.
He says Peter is going to be stopping by to pick up his stuff from the dorm tomorrow at about 4. And Swellen's like, I'll be there.
Oh, yeah, I will
Perfect.
be
Okay,
there.
Swellen, what?
Just
No,
like he was
Do you guys think
there
Jerry
when
has
she
an
was
idea of
dropping
what's going
John
on
Ross
now?
off at
Right.
school.
yeah.
The reverse stalking and yeah.
I think that's why Jerry's acting weird. I think Jerry's like, I don't like this.
I don't like this.
Sue Ellen,
You
Sue
guys need to
Ellen,
resolve something. So
Sue Ellen, you
Yeah,
in the
I
previous
know.
episode told him you did not want him in your life. Stand by your words and
It's
move
Sue
on.
Ellen.
Just walk away.
She's not going to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, if this kid wants to quit
Exactly.
school, let him quit school.
Obviously,
That's the problem.
because
That's
this is what's
another
going on
note
in
I
the
put.
episode.
You owe him nothing. Let him
He's a
throw his life away. His brain is not fully developed yet. Yeah, he will.
He'll figure it out. He was already probably going to drop out anyway if he was that close.
legally a grown adult, and his choices are his choices, and he has to deal with the consequences. Goodbye. Move on. But we wouldn't have a storyline if that happened.
Yeah. What are you going to do with Swell on the rest of the season?
Nothing.
The next morning, JR and Ellie are having
up with Jerry.
breakfast in the kitchen, super cozy. And then JR's like, isn't this nice? If you marry Clayton, we're probably never going to be able to do this again. She's like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah,
He's
what I
gonna
do with my
steal
life
her.
is my business, is basically what she says. It's not
Speaking
your
of
concern.
stealing her away, Clayton is stealing his mama.
She's like, we're also going to live in the house.
Steal
It's
me
going to be fine.
away.
And then she breastfeeds him.
Right, exactly.
And slaps him on his ass and says,
He tries to use like guilt. He's like, just Clayton brings up so many bad memories for me of like Swellen and him. And then she's like, I'm sorry, are you saying there was something with him? And so, no. I'm just saying bad
yeah,
memories.
why don't you take the manure you're shoveling and put it in the yard for fertilizer, okay?
Then Donna walks in to take Ellie shopping when Edgar Randolph calls the house, calls
Yeah.
South Park.
Called the
I don't
kitchen
know.
phone
Okay.
even.
Right. I'm guessing that call was like transferred.
Yeah.
Transfer.
Yeah, the switchboard operator in the South Fork basement was bouncing calls all over.
There's a room next to the.
He probably called Donna's house. Ray answered and said, "Oh, it was up at South Fork," and then gave her the number.
Ray should be out working at this point in the morning, but who knows?
I think so.
Maybe they have a maid too that we never see.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Carmen.
Or call forwarding. Call forwarding was a thing. Not that I don't know.
Was it call forwarding? Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it was a thing, but would you really do that if you were just going up to the house to pick her up and go shopping? I don't know.
Right.
It's very convenient.
Yeah.
But whatever.
A little too convenient.
Yeah.
Donna and Ray had a maid. Her name was Carmen, and she was there with her daughter Elena.
Fair.
Didn't know. She pieced all that together. How
it's
about
like
that?
we never see her. Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Edgar's calling to make a lunch date with Donna. And so they have to get her and Ellie have to get going so that she can make it for the lunch date. And they leave. And then JR says,
there's a line about a wedding dress. There's a line about a wedding dress, which that gets to JR.
And then JR says like, oh, Ray, you sure married a winner, which is like, it's true. He did.
JR, you're threatened by Donna.
So there's a scene later that we get to that Donna and Edgar are having lunch. Like, did we need to have that establishment with the phone call? It seems.
No, I don't think.
Yeah,
I think we're.
What didn't fill a lot of time is just one of those things that we'll throw this in here, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
We have almost 30 episodes, so we need to.
We need filler.
Yeah.
It's like the throwaway tracks on an album that you have to fill out the album when a music artist records an album.
I'm just saying we didn't need to establish that was going to happen. We could have just gone straight to them having lunch. Anyway.
So at Barnes Wentworth, Pam barges into Cliff's office and she's like,
again.
Yeah, she's mad again. She's like, what the fuck is going on with you and Afton? Why is she at my house crying?
Like, what did you do again? What did you do this time, you dumbass?
And
yeah, having Mary Lee over to your house.
Are you having an affair with Mary Lee?
Mary Lee.
And Cliff he just says it's none of your business.
Mary Lee and Jenny Lee and
your live-in girlfriend whose house that is also yours, like it's hers too. Like, she is at my house crying because why is she at my house? You fucking idiot.
Because you were getting.
What did you do?
It is my business now. And he's just like, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. And also, like, he doesn't want to take any of her shit anymore. He's just like, I don't need any of this.
Because she brings up the offshore leases, and with going into this another battle between you and Ewing Oil, and then he flips out.
He's determined to do this with or without Mark,
her, or Porn Stash,
or anybody else. He is determined to make this happen, and if it means getting on the right side of Mary Lee Stone, then that's what it means.
And it brings up past life trauma for Cliff, because he wants to make the company the #1 independent in the state, so he will be so big that nobody can ever hurt him again. His
Exactly.
past
'Cause
traumas
that's
are
what she's
coming
like,
out.
why are you doing this? And he is honest about that. He's like, I want to be so big no one can
Never
do
hurt me
anything
again.
to me. Oh, Cliff.
Eat a piece of licorice from the licorice bowl that you had
Yeah.
for your mama.
At the Oil Barons Club, Ray meets
And I'm
Clayton.
honestly glad that Ray has another father figure
There's a
after
lot of
Jock.
Yeah,
there are a lot of meals now at the Oil Barons. They are really taking full
there are.
advantage of
Yeah.
that set.
Yeah, they're lacking in restaurants in Dallas, and yeah.
Cattleman's Club is gone, never to be heard from again.
Oil Barons Club is so much better than the Cattlemen's Club.
Oh, it is, and it has a view.
As a view, I feel like I have been searching for the Cattlemen's Club, or I mean, the Oil Barons Club vibe my whole life. Like, I want to go to there.
Yeah, I want to go to that. I tell you what, we had dinner at the top of Reunion Tower. Is that right?
Okay.
And we didn't sit at the bar, but it's definitely got that Dallas Oil
Really? Is
Barons
it
Club
similar?
vibe. It definitely
Okay,
does.
next time.
So
That
put
hotel
some
bar in
pennies together.
Atlanta
We go
kind of
eat up there.
reminded me
Yeah.
of that a
Gosh,
little bit,
yes.
like a modern version.
Yeah.
Brad, when you went to Reunion Tower, was it still Wolfgang Puck's restaurant, or has that gone away?
I don't think it was called Wolfgang Pie. It was
Okay, because when I
it
went
was
there
the
in
restaurant at the top of
12,
Reunion Tower. I don't remember the name of it. It was 2
when I,
years ago.
yeah, when I went there in 12, it was Wolfgang Puck's. The restaurant rotated, right? It rotated around the ball, I believe.
This one, it did not. It did not. I mean, I assume it can, but it did not rotate.
Okay, then it
That's
stopped the
the
rotation.
Space Needle
I
in
think.
Seattle does that too. It revolves around as you're eating.
So did the top of the hub in Boston at the Prudential, but that's gone now as well. But TNT was paying for the meals, so it was like, okay, I'll have that $53 steak and whatever else I can get for TNT's bank book. It was good food too, very good food.
I would hope so.
Yes, good food, good view.
The reason that Clayton wants to talk to Ray instead of Bobby, or definitely JR, is that he thinks that Ray is maybe someone who might be able to get it a little bit more, and he can talk to him about the fact that he's gonna find it hard to live in Jock's house, as a man.
Right.
But Ray's like, time for a history lesson, buddy.
Open
Get
your
your
books to
facts straight.
chapter 1. Open your
Right.
books to chapter 1.
Yeah.
It was always her ranch, even though Jock saved it
Right.
with his money. But yeah, it was her
It's
land,
always
her family's land to begin with. So even though Jock was there for a long time, he moved on to her land at one point. So
He was
And
in Clayton's shoes, basically. is
right.
what,
And then Clayton's like, yeah, I get that. I know that. But, they lived there together forever. And so it's kind of like, and basically, Ray just stops him and he's like, if Jock could do it, so can you. Like,
I think Steve really shines in scenes like these where he's
yeah.
kind of the voice of reason. He's he's not
He's not
overly
a dumb
emotional. He's not fighting. Not playing the dumb cowboy. Like these are the scenes where he really see his talent.
I'm not just a dumb
You
cowboy.
see it in the later
He's
seasons
not
too,
just he's
when
not just a dumb.
He's not.
JR starts needing Ray and Bobby's help with shit. I'm thinking of BD Calhoun in particular, that whole storyline. When we get there, spoiler.
Well, yes,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
fantastic. That fantastic storyline.
I kind of liked it, actually.
We fight amongst ourselves, but we come together against
Parts of
the
it.
outsiders, is
Right.
what basically is the mantra of that family.
And the range
And we'll
war.
beat the
and,
crap out of each other, yeah.
00 Bobby.
Blow it to kingdom come.
Stupid range war.
Man.
Ugh.
That whole
I
bit.
love
Oh,
that
Now,
ring.
I
BD,
can't wait to
I
get to
love
that
BD
because
Calhoun
that
was better
and the
than the
stuff in
Range War
Paris.
and
And it's like,
Russia
Bobby, are you a
and
secret agent?
all that shit.
Right.
Oh, yes, B.D. Calhoun was great, but I still like the range war for some reason.
B.D.
You
Calhoun
do
is
even like the
threatening.
range.
He was
I just,
threatening.
I haven't rewatched. I've never
Those
rewatched
happened
those.
in Texas. Those
It's
happened in the over property, and it was
In
nice
the
to see it
1800s.
good old fashioned range war. Let's go back to get down and dirty here, folks. We'll bring in Hughes.
Don't give me that crap.
As his head looks
So
like it's
at
ready
Ewing
to
Oil,
topple.
Jenna comes in. She's super happy. She's super psyched because she has found some new young designers who can make stuff for her store. That gave her incentive to contact people she used to know in the fashion business, like Rome and France, and like it's all coming together. And she's super excited.
My notepad actually ran out on this
Oh,
part
wow.
of the episode, and I actually switched to a new one.
Okay.
Thought you were going to be done. No more notes. But no,
So then
he found another notepad.
I bought a pack of
Phyllis
12
buzzes
a while
in,
ago, about
and
5
she's
years
like,
ago.
"Hey, Bobby, you've got a phone call." And he was like, "Well, I'm kind of busy." And she's like, "It's very important." Jenna just kind of looks at him, and Bobby's like,
Yeah.
"Hey."
She's using that
No,
JR's been
I knew it
shot
was Pam
voice,
right away
Like,
for
it's
whatever
very
reason.
important. Right.
Yes.
Like, nothing
Because
happened.
Phyllis
What?
knows
Good job,
Jenna's in the
Phyllis.
room. She knows better.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Phyllis
She's
has
protective
always
of
been
Bobby.
very astute, because when Bobby was passed out and slept overnight when he slept overnight in the office, and then she came in, saw him, and she went out and she buzzed him, and he asked how she knew he was there. He said,
And I think
"Oh, I saw your
she is
car in the
some kind of
garage."
loyalty to Pam as well,
She's
maybe.
very,
Probably. Yeah.
probably, yes.
Probably.
And that was
So
another little behind the scenes tidbit. We've talked with Deborah Turnelli, is they may say they appeared in X number of episodes, but that's on camera. And then there are the episodes where they get brought in just to record a line for their voice, and those are other episodes that add up as well. So it's you're not seen, but you're just heard.
So Pam has called because she would like to meet up with Bobby and like have dinner to talk about some important things. And Bobby's just like, shit, I don't know that I can. And she's like, it's really important. I really need to talk to you.
My girlfriend is sitting here on the couch in my office, and I'm talking to my ex-wife. This is
So
awkward.
then he's like, all right, okay, let's meet for dinner.
Interesting that she's choosing this avenue rather than like this could have been. I'm going to storm into his office and talk to him about it. But this is what she wants to do. This
Or she literally just could call him and be like,
interesting. The
FYI.
writing choices. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
She
gonna
could have
get a
stormed
free
in,
dinner.
and Jenna could have been there when she stormed in. Then it would have really been.
Then that would have been
Very basic thing to do to try to wrangle a free dinner out of this.
And we haven't been to La Provençale in a while.
So then he has to explain to Jenna why he's going to dinner with his ex-wife. And Jenna's just like, she's kind of side-eyeing it. And then he's just like, she says it's really important. And then he's like, actually, would you like to come? And
Love
she's like, no,
Just
I
turns
wouldn't.
it on its head. Like, would you like to come along? Hell no.
And she's
Could you
just like, God, that sounds awful.
Imagine the look on Pam's face when she's sitting there, and then Bobby waltzes in with his girlfriend.
With Jenna. Oh my God.
Great. That would have been great.
It would have been
Hey,
amazing.
Also, but
you want to call porn stash? And
yeah.
have a group dinner. We'll double date.
Yeah. So now it's like reverse day because now Sue Ellen is stalking
Pathetic girl.
as he's packing up his Jeep.
You owe him nothing. Like I said before, his brain hasn't finished developing. Like, this is a terrible idea.
This is all such a bad idea. Such a bad idea. Let him go.
His brain has a case of arrested development.
The whole story works better if she had been pursuing him from the beginning. Like if she had just fallen head over heels in love with him while he was at the summer camp, and then she's after him, and he's like, "Ooh, gross, old lady, get away from me." But it's not. It just comes out as creepy. And then now she's just the writers are making excuses for her to continue to follow him around here. So yeah, I totally understand why people are like, this is not a good story.
Yes, I get it now.
Yeah.
And used to not.
Right.
I totally get it. It's just.
I still think the end of this storyline though is totally worth it.
It is pretty good.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
He would have been a better fit with Lucy being in the same age group, and they could just go off and do whatever. But then you put yourself in a corner in a way, because he's studying to be a psychologist or whatever. So you put yourself in a social work corner the way that Mitch was put in that corner, because he'd have no reason to interact with the rest of the family. They'd just kind of be like an offshoot within their own show.
Yeah, and Lucy does get a chance to have her shining moment with this story too, I think. Point it out. I'll
Yes.
point it out when we get there. But yeah, she has a drunken tirade.
So she's like, I don't want you to drop out. And then he's just basically saying the same thing we are. He's just like, why? Like, it's my life. I can make as many mistakes as I want with it.
It's
And right
my
now
life.
I'm gonna make mistakes. So back off and I'll see you later. And then he angrily drives off
Words won't
and
fix anything.
screeches. So drink.
Leave me alone. It's my life, basically.
Mhm.
That's what we should be playing, that Billy Joel song underneath the radio.
And then Jerry just says, so he rented an apartment at 44 Blue Hill Road, FYI.
Which is
Do we
actually an
really like
address
Jerry?
which is actually an address in the Boston area. Blue Hill
Oh,
Avenue,
I would
actually,
imagine
not
there's a
road.
lot of. So do we really like Jerry at this point? Is this
Yeah, Jerry, what are you doing? And then he's like, he'll be there tomorrow. He's not gonna be there tonight because tonight he's driving up to see his mom in Denton, which is just okay,
Well, good that Peter remembers he has a mother,
I guess. Yeah,
because the woman has the hots for is probably the same age as his mother.
not quite, but
No.
not that much different either.
Similar.
So now we're at a French restaurant. I don't know if we know what
Pam's
this
favorite
La,
restaurant?
la,
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
Bobby said it on the phone, didn't he?
8 p.m. 8 p.m.
And then she's just like, oh, you brought me here on purpose because you remember this is my favorite restaurant. And she just keeps bringing up like couple things, and it's a little
And
weird.
some people there probably still see them as a couple.
We have to leave some
But
embers burning.
he offers to go to another restaurant if she's not comfortable there.
Right. And then she's like, no, it's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's crazy. We're here. This is weird.
Bobby's on fire in this episode. He's like, Jenna, you want to go to dinner with us? And she's like, no. He's like, you want to go to a different restaurant, Pam? And she's like, no. It's like
He's
asking
no.
these questions. He knows that they're not going to. They can't possibly. Yes, they do, maybe, but they can't possibly say yes to that.
Exactly.
No. The escargot is great, and I'm sure the coq au vin is divine. So let's just stick around.
Very manipulative.
Yeah. And so she's bringing up a couple things, and then she's like, but the unfortunate thing, we've hardly had any conversations where like we don't argue. And he's like, okay, so let's just agree not to argue.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's
They
just do
have
that.
a non-aggression pact for the evening.
Right. And he's like, but let's get shit out of the way first. How is Mark? Fine. Now you ask, how is Jenna? And then they have dinner.
There's always a but.
But why are they really there, Pam? Well,
Now who's the spy?
I'm concerned about Cliff, and it's something Cliff is doing.
She's going to Bobby to talk about. She's afraid there's going to be another war, and that JR's going to ruin Cliff again, and because Cliff's interested in the bidding process, the bidding on the offshore oil leases, the same as Ewing Oil could be, and she just wants him to have a heads up on it so that.
And Bobby diffuses the situation by saying that they are sealed in their government and nobody can know anyone's bid until everything's placed, and there are going to be others involved, and the weight just lifts from her shoulders.
She made a big deal out about them. No.
He calls shenanigans on the fact that he's like, why are you telling me your personal business things? Like, that's not good.
But she made a big deal about this, and it's not a big deal. At least we don't think it's. He doesn't think it's a big deal. But she got her free dinner, so whatever.
Let's bounce back to the Oil Barons Club.
Yes, Oil Barons Club, where there's a creeper watching Donna and Edgar.
Creeper. Rando creeper.
Lots of rando creepers.
And then JR comes in and meets with Rando Creeper.
Now we know why there was a rando creeper there.
Which, whenever I see a Rando Creeper, I'm like, okay, that guy's working for JR.
He's on JR's payroll.
Well, it says that in the credits.
And
Probably.
He just confirms that Edgar is the one.
Right.
He said,
he walks, he's like, it's definitely him. Sus.
Very weird.
Neo from the Matrix.
That's very suspect.
The one. Yeah. This guy's, JR now has dirt on it. So it didn't give us much lead in on that. Like, we weren't suspecting any of that. But now it's.
Right.
So he got some dirt on Edgar Randolph. We have no clue what that is at this point, but he's got a lot of, once again, a lot of irons in the fire.
As always.
He's got McSween down there using his vacation time, looking into Clayton. He's got this guy. He's got that guy. I'm surprised he doesn't. No, he doesn't care what Sue Ellen's doing with her time. And then the next two scenes are basically the fallout from the Bobby and Pam dinner. We get to see the reactions of Jenna and Pornstash.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Jenna is picking out
Which
wallpaper
is
in
ugly,
her boutique.
by the way. Oh my god,
And
that's awful.
yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's very
So wait,
1984 though.
So wait, she came in to this boutique that was bought, and she's basically stripped it and is redoing it.
Yeah, she's
Okay,
redecorating,
okay, okay, okay.
making it
that's
more
what I want.
Jenna Wade style.
You know, and it was at some point this week I was kind of reviewing something in my head. I don't know, and it finally hit me why we're doing the boutique thing, because we're not filming in Dallas anymore. They're not using Billy Bob's. We had to do something with Jenna. We had to get her out of there because they're not there anymore. And it's like, it's so funny how watching these now and seeing them, and then knowing a little bit more about it than you did 40 years ago tells you
Yeah.
why certain things happen.
Why
The
they-
reason he
in this
bought her
story,
a boutique is because they moved back to California.
Because
Mhm.
otherwise they'd have to build a set of Billy Bob's.
Right.
Right, and we need the boutique is her version of Pam's exercise studio. To run
I feel
parallel.
it lasts a lot longer than Pam's
Yeah.
exercise studio.
Right,
though.
but then it too will disappear into the
But-
ether.
it doesn't just disappear. There's like a resolution to it.
And right, but yes,
There's a resolution.
it's her, yeah. And one more note on the cartel is they are always meeting at a restaurant or at Ewing Oil. Do any of them have offices? That we never see. Do we ever see them in their offices?
No,
They're
because
just
they would
floating around the
use those
city.
so rarely. It wouldn't be worth building the set.
Right, they just seem to be floating around the city, like
Yeah.
nomads, wandering nomads.
Going from one lunch to another.
That's the life, man.
Hey, you don't have to worry about renting office space. You don't have to sign
No,
a lease.
You
You
just
keep
meet
the
in other
overhead
people's
low.
offices. They're actually homeless.
Yes.
Yeah, they live on the streets with Lou Diamond Phillips.
At least Ollie had an office and a
In her
office in her
bedroom.
bedroom. But she had the office and the office in her bedroom too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't we see Marilee's house, or at least the back of it with the pool? Isn't that hers?
We do see
At some
Marilee's
point,
house, yeah.
So there we go. Which might just be Pam's house refilmed. I don't know.
JR walking in all of it in his black suit, walking into the water.
So he tells Jenna about his dinner with Pam, and Jenna is like, "What? Like, you went out to dinner so she could tell you that? Like, that's really, like, I think you're being naive, because it sounds to me like she just wanted to spend time with you." And he's like, "What? That's crazy." And then he gets this like, "Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. What?"
And the writers have said we haven't had a Bobby Pam scene, relaxed Bobby Pam scene in a while. So let's throw one in.
And then we cut to Pornstash
Oh my god.
losing his shit.
Pornstash.
He's mad.
I'm in the business too. You can't come to me.
Insecure pussy.
So insecure.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I'm in
And she's like,
He's basically like,
I didn't want to. I wanted to go to Bobby. Duh.
I know about offshore leases too, Pam.
I know
blah,
things
blah, blah,
that
blah,
Bobby
blah, blah.
knows.
Stuff.
you just needed an excuse to go run a Bobby.
And she's like, maybe?
Maybe if he wasn't always like out playing polo or whatever bullshit he's into, like driving
nude
around in his
skydiving.
car and nude skydiving. Maybe if she actually saw him working,
It's got him.
she'd know that he does know something. But you never see him working. He's out, with
Correct.
his willy
Correct.
flapping on the.
Instead of a candle in the wind, there's a penile in the wind flapping.
We never see him working. He's just got money and a huge
No,
business.
yeah, no.
And, huge
Well, I feel
business.
like he doesn't really have to. He has people doing the work for him. He doesn't really have to do much.
He has that silver spoon.
Yeah.
No Ricky Schroeder.
Afton interrupts because she's leaving.
She's like, oh, by the way, this is worse than staying with Cliff, so I'm going to leave and go back to his house.
Yes, I'm gonna go.
Everywhere I go, it's awful.
Maybe I'll go find Mitch and just hang out with him wherever he is, and go home to Arliss.
Poor Afton.
Speaking of Mitch, we learn in the last scene that Peter has moved into what was Mitch's old apartment building. Yes, as a recycled.
I didn't notice that.
The establishing shot is the same. Is that what you're saying?
The establishing shot is exactly the same, but there's no yellow convertible car in the front.
I didn't catch that. Nice.
I didn't catch it either.
Yes.
Did they film it like the second floor, but it's clearly on the first floor?
Well, the exterior outside, but
You know how the establishing shot will focus on something, and now I got to go back and look. But if it looks
Yeah, I know,
focusing
right?
on the
Did it go?
second floor, but they're clearly on
Huh.
the first floor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
yeah, this was just a wide static shot, but it's the same building.
Okay. A
Gotcha.
static shot. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the apartment that he rented as their love nest.
Oh my God.
They're in Pound Town.
And he's mad that she's there. He's just like, I don't understand why you're here. I literally just need I heard what you were saying. You don't feel the
I
same
need to
as
move
me.
back east.
I need to leave the situation. I need to figure out how to get over you, over this, and move on with the rest of my life. And she's just like, but what happens if like we were getting together?
He's all, I can't stand the fact that I'll never be able to touch you
Mm.
or hold you. I just have to
This
go.
is like the worst. This is so cringe.
And she's just like, but what if you could touch me?
I feel like that gets to her. The whole like, I can't get over that I'll never be able to touch you. And she's like, oh, I want someone who wants to touch me, you know?
Carrie says,
I haven't been
it's so cringe they can't even show it. The first time I watched
Uh-huh.
it, I wasn't even sure they went all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because for the first time in the show's history, they go to a black screen at the end of the
Right.
episode.
After she kisses him, like she totally goes to town and kisses him.
Oh yeah, they go to Pound Town.
And then she does the, Peter, you're so young.
This
Peter,
is so.
you're so sweet. This is
Yeah,
just a
that's another
moment for
thing.
us,
She tells
Peter.
him like
It
this
can't
isn't
last.
serious. That's basically her way of saying this is a fling.
It's a moment.
And he's like, yeah, that's not how I'm thinking
Already
about it.
miscommunication again,
So,
right?
Let's go bang.
Girl. No, girl, she knows, and she made a terrible choice. But
I
anyway,
felt like I needed to wash after that
It
last.
goes to a black
they
screen like
stream
you.
on black, so I guess we don't take any drinks. That's my.
Yeah, it goes to a
No,
black screen like
you drink
think.
you drink the whole bottle if it goes.
I thought that was when everybody was on screen. We drink everything.
You think there's going to be more to it because it goes to black before the credit comes up. It's like you think maybe there's going to be another scene, and I think they probably should have inserted a scene like 17 seconds later it fades back in and Sue Ellen's smoking a cigarette, and because he's 19.
They don't call him a Minuteman for nothing.
I mean, he is like 22. You know. I wonder if Linda Gray like objected to that kind of scene with him because I know that she didn't like this story.
With Christopher Atkins, possibly. But I mean, you remember that one Sue Ellen and Nicholas Pierce had?
Christopher, we like you. You're a nice guy, but the storyline was just creepy. Okay, thank you. I said it.
The chemistry is lacking. Sorry, Melanie, say what you were saying.
Oh yeah, the chemistry is lacking.
Well, they wrote it.
Yeah, it needed to be more like two-way, not just him stalking her.
You mentioned Nicholas
That
Pierce.
was
They don't click like that. Like they showed that. You showed that again at there in Dallas at South Fork, and like that's a hot scene.
That is a hot scene.
That was beautiful.
That smoldered. I was like going like this. I was like, oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turn up the air conditioning in here. Jesus.
I feel like this, if they had continued on with it, it would not have been near as.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Not the fire that we see later.
Also, maybe that's why they cut. Maybe they did film something and then they're like, this isn't believable.
Like her scenes with Ken Kercheval have more fire.
Really, they really do.
It's true.
Sorry, Chris, again.
And Jack Scully is a very nice man.
Yeah, Mary and I had our little
is a very
fangirl moment with that big
attractive man.
smile of his in California last year.
He has aged like a fine wine. I honestly think that he has gotten more attractive since he's gotten older.
I won't speak to
He's
that, but
still
he's a
very
very
nice.
nice guy. And
He
very
is.
funny.
He still text messages every holiday to like say, oh, happy Thanksgiving to you
Aw.
and your people, and
That's really
Merry
nice.
Christmas and this. Yeah.
Sarah Scott, and I were sitting at the bar there in the hotel in Dallas, and I see Jack come up to order. He wanted to just order a drink on the side there and take it back to his room, I think, or whatever. So anyway, I saw him standing over there, and I'm like, "Hey, Point Man!" That's a show he did in the '90s, and I mentioned that to him when I met him in Burbank, and he looks up and he's like, "Hey!" And he walks over there. He walks over and just hanging out, like, "Hey, how you doing?" He remembered seeing me in Burbank, and just all smiles and so happy to just meet with the fans. So hopefully we'll see him again at one of these functions. And I don't know, why are we talking about him when
Because it was a much better scene.
he wasn't even in this episode?
Because it's the contrast of
We'll put this out there for the Patreons.
the ickiness of the Peter and Sue
Yeah.
Ellen chemistry and the Linda and Jack chemistry that occurred several years
Which
later.
is not to say that Christopher Atkins is not a super nice guy, because he's very nice.
No, he,
Right.
Many conversations with
Brad,
him.
Brad, you and I had that conversation on the podcast with him. He was very
He's
well,
awesome.
and you can
Yeah.
go back and
He's
watch
awesome.
all those episodes.
I
A
feel like
good
we need to ask him something about not the Blue Lagoon, because you
Right.
can tell he's tired of
He's
that
like,
conversation.
Yeah. Tired of Blue
Tired of
Lagoon,
talking
So I'm going to
tired
watch
of
something
Blue
else he
Speedo.
did. I want to watch something else he did, and we'll ask him about that.
He's in the pirate movie.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
The one thing I know.
Oh, and
Oh yes,
see.
Insane.
So I give this a 4.45 bourbons and Sue Ellen safari outfit.
Returning to form, I'm lower than you. This time 4.2 bourbons and a burst water pipe.
4.5 bourbons, and I need a better selection of wallpaper, Jenna. They gotta go. Color palettes,
Much
no
better.
wallpaper. Let's do paint.
Yes.
this episode just plodded along. Stuff happened, but it didn't happen. It was like one step forward, two steps back, and I'm going with a 4.25 and just a plate of reheated lo mein or chow mein.
I almost said that, and I said no. Josh is going to want to use that, so I will change my answer.
I think mine is
Burst water
only
pipe.
higher because how excited Jenna is the whole episode. And her hair
Oh yeah,
is just fire the whole time. The perfect feather.
I need to wash after this whole Peter and Sue Ellen thing. It's it's dirty. It's awful. Yeah.
and this is the
Cringe.
season I started watching
Mhm.
when I was younger, and it
Me
just
too.
didn't affect me at all at that point. And even when I rewatched it in the '90s, like it just seemed like, because when you're watching it daily on TNT or whatever, like but it's so slow watching it this way.
Also, when you're younger, he was old too.
Right.
Like
You don't
I
know the
knew that
difference.
I
Yeah.
knew that there was an age difference.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Right.
I don't know.
They're just two old people, because when you're
Just
7,
two
8
older
years
people.
old.
And also, I think I have always just related to being like, he just has a crush on her. And I've always been like a big kind of crush girl. So
And
I
it's
kind of
weird.
was like,
I remember the fire was the first thing that clicked in my brain that I remembered, but I was watching before then, but it was just too more grown up for me, and I just remember scenes on horses and
There
stuff
weren't any
like
like
that.
significant
But
moments like the fire before the fire, except for like Who Shot JR.
But yeah, and then I think Dynasty also did a fire that same season too. But from what I was reading, but it's weird to think that you think, what was Larry Hagman at that point? Was he in the late 40s? Or Larry was actually 31.
JR
So
is
he's
younger
50.
than Larry.
okay.
Right. So someone like Omri Katz is older than Patrick Duffy was at this point.
I'm
You
older
know,
than
he's
Patrick
48
Duffy
years
was
old.
when the show ended.
I know, it's weird to
That's
think.
what's. I'm older
these
than
things.
Patrick Duffy was when Step by Step ended. I think, actually, to be
What?
honest
Oh,
with you, which is
God.
crazy. Like, what have you done with your life, Brad? But I'm making
And
up
I'm
for it now by being on the Ewing Barbecue podcast.
and I'm what, like 6 months older than you.
Right.
So God damn it.
And
Why did you have to bring
look
that up?
at, like, I watched the rise and fall of Elvis on, I think it was Netflix, and Priscilla was in it, and Elvis died at 42.
Yeah, you did.
We've outlived him, and what the hell have
Oh,
we
that was a
done?
big deal. When I turned 43, my whole thing was like, I have outlived Elvis Presley.
Oh, I do that with different celebrities, like
If you saw that movie that they did with Austin, what's his name?
Oh yeah,
Austin
yeah.
At
Butler.
the end,
He was
it's a very good
phenomenal.
movie. At the end, they showed a clip of actually Elvis there. I think he was singing in Hawaii, and he was, I don't know, maybe 6 months before he died, or not
He
even
was
that
singing
long.
Unchained Melody, was it?
Maybe. Clearly not a 42-year-old man. I mean, that guy his body had aged much more
Oh
than
yeah. Well,
42 years.
he's been doing a
Yeah.
lot of drugs for a
Right.
long time and
That
eating
was
like shit.
It was really sad to look at.
Also, then this has to do with Elvis. I don't know because it was during our hiatus. I listened to Lisa Marie's autobiography, which I highly recommend. It is because it was finished by her daughter Riley Keough and is read
Did
by.
she start it? Did she start reading it and then she died, or?
She started writing it and then she had a hard time writing it. She'd been trying for years with different people. It just wasn't working. And so she had asked Riley to help her like 9 months before she actually died. And so then that's what Riley did after she died, as she finished it. And there's actual clips because as someone doing their autobiography does, they a lot of times just tell stories into a recorder. And so on the audiobook, they actually have some recordings of Lisa Marie talking and telling stories.
Cool.
But it's great.
Yeah. I need to finish Heidi Hagman's book too. I bought that when I first heard about it. I bought it and then it's on my phone. It's on Kindle, and I started reading it, and then I'm stuck on page 50 or something.
I'm on the very end of Walt Disney's biography, and they did not turn a real profit until 1954.
That seems right.
Disney Company. They were so far in debt, and anyone else would have folded up shop.
I think they've made up for it.
Some people will persist.
And then I have to do Bernie Taupin's Elton John's lyricist, and then I'm doing William Keck's book, hopefully before August, because he may be at the event.
Hey guys, I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, we need to sign out of here.
We'll wrap up.
All right.
Emily's got something else going on, clearly.
Yeah. All right. So we will see you next time when we talk about. Do we have the episode?
7.15.
Episode 15.
1,
Season 7.
146.
15.
Offshore Crude.
Yeah, that sounds
Hey,
right.
guess what? St.
Episode
Patrick's Day,
146 of
so
the series.
I'm.
All right.
Bye.
Any
Irish goodbye.
Holy shit. Okay,
Very nice,
Melanie.
She Irish goodbye. That's very nice.
Wow.
We should all do that. Rather than sign off, we just leave.
Yeah. This way. Bye.
Take care of yourselves.
The Ewing Barbecue Podcast is a Stitches creative production. Produced, edited, and graphic design by Mary Louise Hutter. That's me. Social media by Josh Eilberg and Brad Mulholland. Our South Fork expert and behind-the-scenes helper is Jana Tim. Please check out our website, ewingbbq.com, for all things Dallas and Ewing barbecue related. Copyright 2025. Sit, Bella Lugosi, sit. Good dog.
Next on Dallas.
I'm going to take Ewing Oil into the bidding all alone.
But you just told Bobby.
What I told Bobby is between him and me, honey. You just take care of that nitwit Barnes.
I love you. I really love you.
With your help, I'll know how to top his bid. Do you realize what an incredible setup this is?
Yes, sir. I think I do.
This could ruin me. You have my word. Your secret is safe with me.